Donald Trump is losing all control as his top aides and senior advisors are all quitting. The rats are fleeing the sinking ship. First, we learned Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump's chief propagandist, who goes by the title press secretary, that she would be quitting. And as we predicted, that would be a sign of things to come. Indeed, it was. We then learned from the latest reporting yesterday from Notice, nearly half of Donald Trump's appointees at the Treasury Department quit. They can't stand working for Donald Trump and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, as they are continually asked to do illegal things, and they have had enough. Then we learned top aide at the White House, Emily Underwood, would be quitting. Her position was that she was the top deputy to Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. She apparently couldn't stand being around Miller and the White House, and she knew that this White House was indeed a sinking ship, that there would be lots of investigations coming regarding all of the criminality in the White House once the Democrats took control of the House of Representatives. So she fled as well. Then you had another top advisor, someone by the name of Andy Baker, White House Deputy National Security Advisor, very close to J.D. Vance. He was very much involved in the failed, or non-existent, I should say rather, negotiations with Iran. And Donald Trump now says we are declaring economic doomsday against Iran, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. After just earlier this week, Donald Trump saying the Strait of Hormuz is now annexed territory of the United States. So he's gone. And then you have total chaos embroiling the White House. You have Donald Trump's top deputy, Dan Scavino, posting the following message. When you get fired for doing a spectacularly shitty job at an agency with your badge deactivated, building access revoked, and the full "you're dead to us" package, or when you get passed over for ambassadorships, boards, or commissions because there are candidates who are actually far more qualified than you, please resist the urge to sprint to every media outlet that will platform your lying bullshit and then falsely attack people in the presidential personnel office who are out here serving President Trump, the administration, and the American people each and every day. Just take the L and move on, loser, clown emoji. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Just another normal one in the White House. And then late last night, we learned about another person in the Trump White House quitting. James Braid, the top White House aide in charge of liaising with Congress, quitting the Trump regime, according to a person familiar with the transition. Dasha Burns of Politico was the first to report it. James Braid to depart the White House, top White House aide in charge of liaising with Congress, the middleman between Donald Trump and MAGA Mike Johnson, and one of the most experienced congressional hands in the White House, Dasha Burns puts it. The rats fleeing the sinking ship. Bye-bye, James Braid. Or how about you have Joe Kent, the former number 2 at the Office of Director of National Intelligence, who worked for Gabbard, who also left the Trump regime, Tulsi Gabbard. Joe Kent posted the following message yesterday regarding Donald Trump's so-called plan to declare economic D-Day and doomsday on Iran. What Donald Trump wants to trigger World War III so badly and be on the side of Kim Jong-un and what Russia and Iran and China against the United States. Total idiotic is Donald Trump. We know that. Joe Kent says, so if this plan by Donald Trump is actually implemented, it's very likely that Iran will respond by striking the troops we have still in the region. We need to deprive Iran of that option, pull our troops out of harm's way instead of leaving them as leverage for Iran to exploit. Then offer sanctions relief, unfreezing of assets in exchange for opening the Strait of Hormuz. This is the least destructive path to finally put an end to this mess and put American first. And that was Donald Trump's number 2 at the office for the Director of National Intelligence. Both he and Gabbard left, or they were forced out. And now Donald Trump brought in that guy, Jay Clayton, who you saw get cross-examined by Senator Ossoff. More on Senator Ossoff in a moment. And Clayton's out there just being a Donald Trump sycophant, saying, we gotta get him his golden ballroom. Back to the Treasury appointees who have quit. The Treasury Department has seen dramatic exodus of Donald Trump's own appointees, outpacing the turnover of any other administration. Since the start of the second Trump regime, basically almost 50% have either quit or have been pushed out of their positions in the Treasury Department from the 16 Treasury appointees who are confirmed by the Senate. At least 4 of the 7 top Treasury officials left after disagreements with Trump and Bessent because they did not want to violate the law and they believed they were being asked to do criminal things. And they also didn't want to be associated with the $1.8 billion slush fund for the January 6th insurrectionists, which was actually a distraction for Donald Trump giving himself tax immunity so that the Treasury Department and IRS would never look into Donald Trump for not paying his taxes. So let's talk about Senator Ossoff for a second. As you know now, in the famous speech he gave in Atlanta, which we covered at the MeidasTouch network, he made a statement saying Donald Trump would rather be off golfing, building golden ballrooms, or being with Natalie on a Qatari jet, which is apparently defenseless and doesn't have the capabilities to stop potential assassination attempts. And that's what Donald Trump would rather do than help the American people, because Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people. And that threw MAGA world into insanity. And they said, how dare you talk about Natalie like that? And so Senator Ossoff was asked about his statement on MS Now last night and about the behavior of all of these Trump staffers. And Senator Ossoff is like, why do we treat these people like they're babies? Why is there some double standard that you all of a sudden hold people in the Democratic Party or outside of the MAGA party where they have to be absolutely perfect? But Trump and MAGA and their staffers are treated like little toddlers, like bad behaving toddlers. No, these are adults and their actions, whether it's Trump or Natalie Harp or who's ever in the White House, though a lot of them are quitting, are causing catastrophic damage to the American people. These are not innocent people. These are people complicit in war crimes. These are people complicit in deaths in that they are part of a Trump regime that's out there killing people, starving people, ripping away health care from people, destroying the American way of destroying Americans' lives, destroying people's lives all over the world, slaughtering little girls in Iran. Listen to what Senator Ossoff says. Powerful words indeed. Let's play it.
You said, we just heard it, he wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar. Why do you think that's the line that bothers Donald Trump the most?
Lawrence, it's been amazing to watch this White House melt down over this all week. And about Natalie Harp, these White House staffers are adults, public officials paid by the taxpayer with immense power in positions of public trust. And whether it's Natalie Harp printing out Donald Trump's daily dose of delusion and flattery, or Peter Navarro steering taxpayer-funded loans to Trump family investments, or Pete Hegseth deluding the president daily into deepening this quagmire in the Middle East, no one cares about their feelings. The sailors on the Lincoln are fighting his war, a war based on lies, while he plays with his new ballroom, flies around on a jet given to him by a foreign prince, and retreats into this circle of sycophantic aides who tell him every day what he wants to hear, not what he needs to hear. This entire White House is responsible for lying the country into war, and for the rest of their careers, they will be known for having participated in this obscenity.
I've really been trying to keep healthier, high-quality ingredients around the house, and one thing I've gotten tired of is buying seafood that looks great at the store, but then just doesn't live up to expectations. That's why I love Wild Alaskan Company. They offer the best way to get wild-caught, high-quality seafood delivered right to your door on your schedule. Each box comes with individually portioned, vacuum-sealed fillets that are easy to prep, whether I'm throwing together a quick dinner or making something a little more special. Everything is quick frozen right from the Alaskan waters, which helps lock in the texture, flavor, and key nutrients like omega-3s, and it is seafood you can trust with no GMOs, antibiotics, or other additives. Plus, every order supports sustainable harvesting practices and Alaskan fishermen whose history is tied to the region and the practice. One of my favorites has been the coho salmon. It's incredibly versatile, cooks up beautifully, and has a great texture that makes it an easy go-to for dinner. Wild Alaskan Company is so confident that their fish is the best that they offer a 100% satisfaction and money-back guarantee, so you can try your first box risk-free. Go to wildalaskan.com/Meidas for $35 off your first order of premium wild-caught seafood. That's wildalaskan.com/Meidas, MEIDAS, for $35 off your first order. Thanks to Wild Alaskan Company for sponsoring this episode.
Now, as all of these people are quitting, we're learning more about Donald Trump's intention to replace Caroline Leavitt. Another great scoop from Notice right here. Donald Trump wants to fill Caroline Leavitt's position with a man. He wants a man, he says. This is what Notice is reporting, Jeff Stein, with the scoop. Trump is telling his advisors he wants a man to be the White House press secretary. He's interested in Scott Jennings, but not quite sold. Ari Fleischer might as well bring back all the neocons from the George W. Bush administration has been floated. Their kicker has another idea I had not considered. And so that's what Donald Trump is doing right now. Isn't it also notable that a lot of the people who have quit or have been forced out have been women? I mean, we know that, look, while they're awful human beings, Pam Bondi, Lori Chavez-DeRemer, Tulsi Gabbard, Kristi Noem, right? I mean, objectively horrific, vile humans. Hard to say that they're worse than Pete Hegseth and Bessent and Lutnick. And I can go down the list of all of these Miller, all of these horrific men are not far worse. They're all horrible people. But just think about me listing all of those people right there, the level of turnover and people quitting in this Trump regime. So Donald Trump wants to appoint Scott Jennings. Okay, so this was Scott Jennings last night. Now, after Donald Trump has been found civilly liable for being a sex predator, right? Trump's and the Supreme Court wouldn't take Donald Trump's appeal even. Trump's a civilly liable sex assault predator. You have Scott Jennings saying, I just think that we shouldn't demean women. We shouldn't, and it's the Democrats' fault. Is that so stupid? Here, play this clip.
But I also think it is worse to actually use insults to call women stupid, to call them piggy, to say that they are fat, whatever it is. Those things, actual, straight up, direct insults at professional women doing their jobs, I think most people think that's actually worse.
I think look, I said I don't believe in demeaning women. I don't know what your problem is. Didn't you work for Bill Clinton? I mean, my God, we know how Democrats treat women in the workplace.
So that's the guy who Donald Trump wants to replace. Caroline Leavitt, and here CNN plays a montage of Donald Trump attacking various women just in the past few months. Let's play this clip right here.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund.
You are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face.
I'm asking you about survivors of Jeffrey Epstein.
You know what?
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. We appreciate you. Order WTF America now. Thanks for watching.
Before you go, our book, WTF America, is available for pre-order now. It's the story of how we got here and how we fight our way back. To pre-order, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.